I'm going to show you 2 ways to back a hoop. You'll need some felt and some floss. For the first method, I'm going to trace around the inside of my hoop on the felt, and I'm using a string that's 1.5 times the circumference of my hoop. Starting from the inside or underside, with no knot in the end, I'm just going to make a running stitch around the hoop. So it's a series of long, large stitches that are loose around the outside. You can do a couple stitches at a time and then pull it through. You can see there, that's what it would look like flat. But I go out and then back in, skip a stitch length, and go out and back in. And you're going the whole way around the fabric until you get to the end. And that's what the running stitch looks like when you go around the outside. Then the fun part, you're going to gather your ends and pull them. And that running stitch is meant to gather all your fabric together like this. I'm going to open it up to show the first method. You can stick your felt inside, pull your ends, and then you can tie a bow if you want. And the felt just covers your back stitches, and then you have this little bow. You can leave it like that. Or you can do the second method. So in the second method, I'm going to tie this in a knot with no felt on the inside. And then I'm going to trace the outside of my hoop, which is slightly bigger. And you're going to cut that out. And we're going to be attaching this outside our fabric. This time you'll need a string that's 3 times the circumference of your hoop if you wind it around loosely. Tie a knot in the end and go ahead and thread your needle. And I'm going to teach you how to do the blanket stitch here. We're going to start like this in the fabric because we want our knot to be hidden in the end. So pull that through, lay your felt on top, go through the fabric first with your needle and then through the felt like this, about 1/4 inch down. And we'll start attaching the felt to the fabric. Now just above where you first came through, go through the fabric again, and then the felt in the same spot as your first stitch. And this is just to create a loop here, and pull that tight. Then we're going to go forward about 1/4 inch through the fabric again at the top, and then into the felt about 1/4 inch down. And pull that through till you have a loop here. Now once you have your loop, we're going to take our needle and we're going to go from the right side through the loop and pull it till it's snug. And it's going to create this little line at the top, and that's our first blanket stitch. So we'll have the lines going towards the outside of the hoop and then the lines across the top. Grab your fabric again, go up through the felt, trying to keep these as evenly spaced as possible, so 1/4 inch apart and 1/4 inch down. Pull it until you've got the loop and then insert your needle from the right side and pull it all the way through. And there's our second one. Then you're going to continue going like this, grabbing the fabric next to the hoop first and coming up through the felt. Make your little loop, come through the right side, and then pull it snug. It can be tricky here in the beginning because you're working with so much thread, but we're going to continue to rotate around the outside. Untwist those loops and make sure you go through the same direction each time. So this attaches our felt to the fabric with these little lines across the top of each stitch, so you can't really see where they connect. Now, if you are to run out of thread, you can tie a knot here down in the fabric so that it's hidden with the end of your thread. And then you would start again the same way we did in the beginning, just in that spot. Another tip here, when you get halfway, you may see that the fabric is sticking out further than the hoop. So you're going to want to trim it a little if that's the case. Just do a quick check when you get to the middle and trim it if necessary. Keep stitching until you get to the end here with the last stitch. Go through the last loop. And we're going to tie a knot here in the end. So we're going to go under our first stitch. Under our first stitch, we'll make a little loop, go through that 2 times to create a little knot. And then we need to hide the tail. Insert your needle between the fabric and the felt and poke it up somewhere in the middle. Pull it through, snip it off. And then if you go back up to the top and wiggle your needle, the eye of your needle inside between the felt and fabric, it'll loosen that tail and it'll be hidden inside. This method does take longer, but it's a nice skill to learn. And some people just like the look of it better for items that they're giving away.